Tools, we don't talk about them very often. You see us use them a lot. I need to walk you through everything that we carry so that you can replicate that or build one tailored to fit your rig, because tools are extremely important to have on board, and knowing how to use them helps quite a bit. It's kind of like having a first aid kit. If you don't know how to use it, you can do more damage. Same thing with tools. So as you grow in your overlanding skills, work on your rig. Work with someone who knows about your rig and learn. That way when you're in the field and something isn't working, you'll know what it looks like. Alright, now we have more light. As I was saying, if you work on your rig, you know what it's supposed to look like when you crawl under it or open the engine hood. You can just glance at it and know, that's not supposed to be there, or that's missing. So get familiar with your vehicle. It's extremely important. Alright, so it's hard to believe, but that storage system holds all of this junk and more. And it is more than I need, and it is heavy because it's mostly tools. So I originally wanted to go through all these tools on the table out here, but the wind just continues to pick up. It is springtime in New Mexico, and that's just the way things are. So you stay in here out of the wind where you can hear me, and I'm going to bring bags of tools and lay them right here, and we'll go through what I carry and what I probably shouldn't carry, and then we'll decide on what we're going to cull just to reduce weight and increase our storage space. So let's do this. Alright, so first in the stack is this Arb Guitar Repair Kit. This thing has been with us since day one. It has repaired a handful of tires, mostly not ours, mostly people that we've stumbled on. So heavy hand tools. You're not going to be busting your knuckles quite as easily with these right here. So if you're going to buy a tire repair kit, don't go for the cheap ones at O'Reilly's or AutoZone. Go with one of these. And I'm actually going to move this to a more accessible location, probably underneath here, like that. These are really handy to have, especially if you're going to be doing a lot of your own maintenance and stuff, like oil changes. Probably shouldn't be carrying the whole box. I should probably take about a third of this and put it in a Ziploc just to cut down on space, but got in a hurry and this is what we got. So I'm just going to do that real quick. Much better. I'm actually going to keep these in the little outside pockets here. These are welding rods. If you've never heard of battery welding, look it up. It may save you a lot of trouble in the future, and as a matter of fact, you also might want to grab a set of these if you go down that path. One day I'll do a video on how this works, and it's pretty cool. And we have plenty of batteries, so if we ever had to repair a suspension component on the trail that needed welding, we could make that happen, as long as it's steel, obviously. Alright, the next piece is probably not necessary just for field repair, but we never know where we're going to be, and it's nice to know that you're torquing things back to proper spec. So this is a torque wrench from Tecton. Yeah, it's going to go in the bottom because it doesn't come out very often, hopefully. The persuader. So this guy is just a pry bar. It's all about leverage. You sometimes need a lot of it. Suspension components, things like that. It's a bit large. It's not light, but when you need it, you absolutely need it. Chainsaw sharpening kit. I don't even have a chainsaw in here right now, so this is going to come out. This monstrosity is heavy. So I have Snatch Block number 1, Snatch Block number 2. Heavy, heavy, heavy. There are some Snatch blocks out there now that work with synthetic line that are basically just an aluminum spindle looking thing. I may get a couple of those and ditch these puppies. But for now, they're staying with me. However, the rest of this bag, these are all components for using the high lift jack for different things, including the chain. I've never used it. I'm pulling it out. It's so heavy. It's so heavy. I'm sure I can figure out something else if absolutely necessary. So this is coming out. This is staying though. This is just a ratchet strap. So if we ever blew a bead on a tire, you can actually wrap this around the tire, blow it out on the sides to get the compressed air to grab. So this is definitely staying in the kit. I am going to reuse this bag though and put our SpliceWorks dynamic strap and winch extension in this bag. Hey baby, what's up?
I want to come outside.
Cool. I'm just trying to organize and clean up a bit.
What's that sound?
That's the fuel pump. Alright. So that's going to be a little bit nicer because it was getting tangled up in other things. And we try and keep all of our recovery gear to the left. So that's where that's going. Same thing with these guys. These heavy, heavy guys. Alright, next is jumper cables. Not so much for us. But these can also be used with the battery welding little idea that we were talking about earlier. So definitely stay in here. But they're going to go on bottom because we don't use them very often. Have you got chocolate ice cream all over your face?
Yes.
You got chocolate minty breath with a hint of strawberry. Alright, so the next thing that we have is a long shackle, and we have the standard length shackle. And so we're going to keep these handy. These are going to stay up here in our little quick grab box, along with our tree saver from SpliceWorks as well. And the reason for keeping these so handy is we realized in one of the recent videos when we had to winch, I was digging and digging and digging to get to just a couple components that could easily be put in our quick access spot. So we have an extra airline. The idea is that if for whatever reason one of our airlines came apart, which they're known to do, especially these lighter weight ones, we need a backup. So I think I am going to hang on to this, but it's going to go under the box. There's a small cavity down there, so it's very unlikely that we'll ever need it, but that's a good place for it to live, right?
Right. Wait, you need a cavity?
Cavities.
Oh, that hurts.
This is a fuel siphon hose, and honestly, I think I'm going to pull it out. It's not going to fit down any of the tubes that I have on the vehicle. We don't carry any Rotopacks anymore, so it's going to go away. I've never had to use it, but it was there. Say, so long, siphon hose. So long. So this is just a bunch of split loom that I typically try and route all of my electrical stuff through, and it's just been riding along. I've used it from time to time, but it's taking up a lot of space. So I may cut 12 inches of each size and just have it in here for repairs and stuff on the trail. Which brings up an excellent point. Scissors. Definitely an underrated tool, not necessarily carried, but can make a big difference when you need them. Just like that. Close enough. Alright. Tape. So we have all kinds of different tape. This Gorilla Tape is awesome for making tent repairs if for whatever reason you had a tent that ripped or something like that. I've never had a tent rip, so I've never had to use it, but it's there. This is double-sided VHB, very high bond. This is good for mounting things like my mag mount for the ham radio or any other type of item like that. So super, super strong, very handy when you just absolutely need something to stick and stay. Just make sure you wash the surface before you use it. Duct tape. Everybody knows what this stuff is. Pro tip, put it in a Ziploc bag, because when it gets hot in the summertime, these sides just ooze glue and it will stick to everything. Alright, so massive channel locks. Believe it or not, these are extremely handy. They kind of fall into the pry bar realm, where when you absolutely need them, you absolutely need them. So these ride along with this as well. This is a seal puller. This is getting a little bit advanced, but we have it, and I'm going to hang on to it just in case. A mirror. Take care of it. Don't do like I do and throw it in the bag with all the other tools, or you'll end up with a broken piece like this. This is my second one, and it's coming apart. So, but when you need it, you need it. Stick it up in the engine bay. Try and find that lost nut that you dropped. Very important. And along with this Tecton magnet on a little thingy where you can get around corners and such. It looks kind of like a... Anyhow, this could be a lifesaver. They make smaller ones. You might try to have both a large and a small, but this guy right here will save your bacon. Alright, let's talk power tools. So I have air. Why do I need power tools? And why do I have this? This can crank out some serious torque, and that's why we carry this. This is great for just blasting tires off and on, or when you just got a nut you cannot get loose. This is going to trump a lot of things. Now they make these in battery power form now that are outstanding, probably stronger than what this is right here, but this is what I have. The ones that are battery powered are fairly expensive, so this rides along with us for now. And not necessary, a drill. This is a 3/8" impact drive. Not necessary. But there's been places where when we've been on the road full time, it was nice to be able to do a mod in someone's driveway, similar to what we've been doing here. So it's just a matter of what you want to take. It's something that we choose to carry, even though we know it's a bit overkill. And drill bits to go along with them. Alright, let's blast through the tools. Tool roll filled with everything from an 8mm to a 22mm. Now, I'm probably going to take some time at some point and go through this and pull out every size I do not need, just to reduce weight as much as possible. But there is the other side of this where chances are, if you're using your tools, more often than not you're helping someone else, and you never know what they're going to have. So you just got to make that decision if you're going to go for maximum lightweight capability or be able to lend a helping hand. This is just a standard set. The Turtleback trailer has a lot of standard size, so we're carrying both metric and SAE. This roll right here is another set of metric wrenches, but these guys, these beautiful guys, are ratchet wrenches. That right there will save so much frustration. There have been times where you just can't get a socket on it and you're sitting here going, eek, eek. I love these things. So why two sets of metric? The one does not have the ratcheting ends on them, so if you're trying to take a bolt loose in a tight area, you want to have two 14mm or two 15mm. Alright, this big guy has a lot of crazy stuff going on in here. Deadblow Hammer. Some of you guys made some comments back when I was doing some how-tos that I needed a Deadblow Hammer. I definitely agreed, and so that's where this guy right here came from. They make them in different sizes. This is a 24-ounce drift pin. You have no idea how stinking handy this guy right here is, because I just realized, do I not have any sound? There's sound. Whoa. I just broke my mirror the rest of the way. My bad luck continues to go. Anyhow, these guys right here are just awesome for fixing stuff on your suspension, you know, realigning things and then starting the bolt from the opposite side. A couple different sizes of these would go a long way, and they're small, relatively lightweight for what they are. Tie rod in, separator, inexpensive, and it's just in here because I had to do some work that required this, so not necessary. Tons of hose clamps. These are for hillbilly repairs, honestly. Between these, and I've got some massive zip ties I'll show you in a minute, just have a handful of these around for repairing suspension components and things like that. More and more these days, people are going to Torx hardware on things like seats and sensitive components and stuff like that, so it's just a necessary evil to carry a set of these guys as well. And then also a basic set of metric and standard Allen head sockets. This is a die grinder. I don't know why it's in here, and it's not light. It used to have a carbide tip in it, but now it's not useful at all, so check it. A hatchet. I forgot about this. I don't know why it's in here. I don't think I've ever used it. I did use Sarah's kitchen knife once to cut kindling with because I forgot this was in the bag. Sorry, Sarah. We got you a new knife though. I should probably keep this. I should just put it somewhere where I remember I have it, right? You agree? Okay. Bolt cutters, also known as the universal key. Going a bit wildcat on you here, but there's been places on public land, especially in New Mexico, where people have locked gates that they're not supposed to. All legal issues aside, if it comes down to it, if you're in an emergency situation and you are trying to get to safety or get someone to medical care and you know you got to go through a gate, or you come upon a gate someone is locked, use it. So another one that's supposed to go in this bag, it has since drifted, is this ball peen hammer. It's just a 12 ounce. It's not heavy, but when you need to get in a small space and beat on something, it comes in handy. I have also a very heavy but compact sledgehammer as well, so this is going to go back into this bag now. Socket set, again, just a basic 3/8 drive all the way around. Deep well and standard, both metric and SAE. Minimum for your kit. And this is where it gets tricky, just trying to organize things in a way that are relatively accessible. This guy right here is just full of different air fittings, so if I did have something come apart on the air system, I'd be able to make repairs or add something to it. Not necessary. And we're back. Not necessary, but handy. Also some Teflon tape if you need to change out a fitting or something. This is a very important bag. In this bag we have the components we need to change a spare tire. These are the spline tools for the turtleback and the Forerunner. They're different just because that's how this all came about. So we carry these with us at all times. And then just some large sockets that may not necessarily need. One day I'll probably pare this down and take a hard look at what I actually need. What's in this bag? Oh look, it's more ratcheting wrenches. These are standards though. I'm tempted to take these out. I think I'll move these over to the turtleback itself. I think that's what I'm gonna do. Oh, this bag. This bag is full of random hardware. This can come out. High lift rebuild kit. There's a bracket I thought might save the day one day. You just never know with this bag. It's not very big. It's not super heavy. We're gonna rock and roll with it. And this bag, by the way, is from Overland Taylor. He sent this and a couple of other things to us a while back. they've been rocks. I mean, look at that. It's been beat, banged, dropped, tossed, thrown around. It's still going strong. So thanks again, man. All right, this bag right here, this is all my electrical stuff, and it's kind of scattered right now, but I have a set of this style strippers. Overkill, not necessary, but they're really handy when you're doing a project. And again, this isn't so much just a roadside repair kit as much as it is my toolkit. I mean, we are living in this double wide here, but if you see the inside, it's sparse. We're ready to roll. I don't have a toolbox. I don't have a garage. So everything that I need to work on stuff has to ride with me. Then we have some Klein strippers. Klein is probably one of the better brands for your electrical tools out there. Ask me how I know. And then we've got just spare switches. We've got all kinds of components. We've got extra wire. It's a bit of a mess, but when you need it, you got it. We've even got these little cheaters where if you need to add a circuit to an existing circuit, you just pop that puppy on. Don't recommend it, but when you need it, you got it. Also, I got just some hand strippers that go into my electrical kit, and these are the handiest. These little nippers for like snipping zip ties and things like that, these are super duper handy. Another item that I keep handy in my quick access boxes out here on the side is a voltmeter. This is not an expensive voltmeter, but it is a Fluke, so it is a high quality voltmeter. They make them from basic like this all the way up to you have to be a rocket scientist to operate. Alright, so in this bag right here we've got just a bit of heat shrink, different sizes and stuff that I bought on Amazon for just a few bucks. So that goes with us for repairs and modifications. And then in this bag there's some heat shrink in here, but primarily it's ring terminals, stab terminals, things like that that we would typically use for modification or addition. Really, I could pare this down to about 5 or 6 of each and chuck it, but it's lightweight. It's not taking up a ton of space right now. So funnel, for sure. Always want to have some type of funnel riding along with you. In this box of goodies, this bag of goodies, we have probably far more than we need. I have a selection of screwdrivers for one, another set of needle nose, so these guys are probably going to get retired. These are older than I am. I stole these from my dad. These have seen a lot of work. Vise-Grips, always important to have at least one pair. Crescent wrench, again, at least one of these guys. This is another set of Vise-Grips, so that means one set's going to go away. So I'm going to move these over to Sarah's rig. This is an adjustment tool for our Icon suspension, raise and lower the height. Another crescent wrench. Probably going to move the smaller one. So I'm going to move this one over to Sarah's kit. This is an interesting tool. So this is for like circlips or, and I'm missing a spring, maybe? Yeah, there used to be a spring in it. It made it really, really helpful. But now it's gone. But it has all these other fittings and stuff that you can put on the interchangeable head out here for removing weird circlips and stuff like that, especially like on axles and things. And that just changes the axis of whether it's pushing or pulling. Stubby screwdrivers. Yes, you're going to want one of each of these. They can make a difference, a huge difference when you need it. Again, a set of Allens. I know, like I have so many Allens. I might need to get rid of these. But sometimes the socket versions will not fit, and you need these. It's so hard. It's so hard to know what to take. Measuring tape. You wouldn't think that this would be necessary, but there have been times where I needed to check ride height or something like that. Sometimes you need to know what size a bolt is so that you can go get a replacement. It's just handy to have. It's small, it's lightweight. Zip ties, big old honkin' zip ties. These guys are legit. Big old 18-inch. And when you need them, you need them. They also make them in stainless steel for those serious repairs. I would recommend getting some of these. Not too many, just a few. They might save your bacon. Spare belts, spare parts. This is a serpentine belt for the 4Runner. We just put a new one on about 20,000 miles ago, and so this one was the one that was on at the time, so it went to spare duty. So over here in our quick access, I've got my air hose, an unsung hero. This right here is great for checking the temperature of your differentials and other components like wheel bearings on your trailer, just to know if you've got something that's going south. Very inexpensive on Amazon. Our winch controller. Want to keep that nice and accessible. This is a wireless controller, but unfortunately it doesn't usually work. That's why the cable for this is also out here. And then just a quick 10-in-1 screwdriver. Sometimes you just don't want to dig through your entire toolkit to grab the screwdriver you need for a quick fix. So this guy just kind of floats out here. Quality gloves. These guys have been through the ringer. I mean, look at those things. Probably time for a fresh pair. But I always keep these accessible. It's the first thing you should be grabbing in a recovery evolution is your gloves. Just do it. First step. I've been guilty of not. I'm just saying. And then, you wouldn't think it, but I've got a hunting knife or a camp knife, survival knife, whatever. It's solid steel. This is made by Bushman. This thing's been around for years. And it just floats out here. The idea being, if you were in a situation where you're in a recovery or whatever and you needed something to just cut a vehicle loose, maybe it's rolling down the hill and it's going to cause more problems and you just need to cut something loose, knowing that you've got something accessible like that, 1 in a million shot, 1 in a million chance, but there it is. Our last couple pieces, this is just the oil filter socket for the 4Runner, so when I change my oil I've got this ready to go. And then this is a 7/8 wrench, dual open-ended. There's nothing special about it other than the fact I keep it in my quick access out here because this is what I use to tighten the anti-rattle on the hitch receiver for the turtleback. So it lives right here because it gets used a lot. Alright guys, well look at that. We did clean up quite a bit of wasted space of things that they didn't need to be in here. That's just what happens over time. You throw stuff in, you move stuff around, you forget. It's good to do a spring cleaning on your rig. You never know what you might find that's missing. It's also a good time to build a checklist. So next time, you check it off. Alright, that's my long, exhaustive walkthrough of our toolkit here in silver. Hope you found it informative. If you like this video, hit that like button, subscribe if you're not already, and we will catch you on the next one. Until then, safe travels.